Only 4% of FPL managers own this Chelsea midfielder, and I am one of those. He has made it into my updated FPL draft. Call me crazy or call me a genius. You're going to have to let me know at the end of this video. So make sure you stick around. Make sure you hit that like button. We're aiming for 250 for this video, and we're also trying to hit 6k subscribers before game week 1. If you can smash the subscribe button, I will be eternally grateful. So without further ado, let's get into this updated FPL draft. So as you can see here, first and foremost, I have made a goalkeeper change to my team. Flecken has come in with the expectation of him being the Brentford goalkeeper. Now, we still don't have absolute confirmation right now, and I do feel like this is a position that definitely can change for my team. David Raya being in the squad still gives me a little bit of pause about whether Flecken is absolutely locked in. But if he is, then I think with the fixtures coming up for Brentford, the kind of clean sheet potential that they do offer and allowing their goalkeepers to actually make saves from low XG positions kind of is a recipe for success for goalkeepers. And I think Flecken could be the next 4.5 million goalkeeper to emerge in our teams. And he's currently in my game week 1 updated draft. The backup goalie hasn't changed, and I still think he's the best 4 million goalkeeper is West Ham's Areola. You can see him there. I think there is a chance of him becoming the number 1. If it doesn't happen, it's not a problem. 4 million goalkeepers are there basically just to sit on the bench, so I'm not worried about that. But maybe over preseason, we will have somebody emerge in the coming game weeks or weeks itself. Moving into defence, I've started to change the position and formation a little bit. I've decided to go for a 4 at the back to see how it fits, and I'm quite liking what I'm seeing right now. So Trent Alexander-Arnold has retained his position alongside Shaw and Estupiñán. Just to touch on Trent, for me, I want to have ownership in the most expensive defender in the game because, one, I think the fixtures for Liverpool are quite favourable apart from game week 1 in particular, but his attacking potential I just can't miss out on right now. And if in the coming game weeks we were to see him regress as an FPL option, then you can simply downgrade Trent to any other player in the game. And I like having that option rather than having to reach up to him if he is to hit the ground running. Luke Shaw, for me, the best 5.5 million defender in the game right now. We know his minutes are guaranteed and he offers attacking potential in a good Man United defence, especially with the addition of Onana in goal. I think it's only going to enhance them as a defensive unit. Estupiñán, the pick of the bunch of the 5 million defenders. That one is almost essential in my team. The opening fixtures for Brighton are fantastic. His ceiling is so high that I think he's one of those that if anybody's going to get a double-digit return, he could be the man, and I don't want to miss out on that potential. So he's just coming in at 5 million. And then once the fixtures turn around game week 4, game week 5, either an early wildcard or simply moving him sideways to another option that emerges is the likely strategy. Now, one of the first new men into my team alongside Flecken is Gabriel of Arsenal. I've replaced Ramsdale with Flecken, and now I've changed my 4.5 million defender to Gabriel. Now, I personally like the investment in Gabriel. I do feel like he is a good, solid option in this Arsenal defence. We need to see a little bit more whether Zinchenko's minutes are guaranteed or not, but I feel like Gabriel's is going to be. He offers attacking potential, but importantly, the Arsenal fixtures are fantastic. Spoiler alert, as you can see, I haven't gone for the triple up in Arsenal attack, but I do think that's a viable move. But I want to piece that Arsenal defence, and I feel like Gabriel at 5 million is just a nice investment into that side. The backup defender is going to be Baldock at 4 million. Yes, Bell at Luton is a great pick as well, but I just want to try Baldock into the team. The ownership of Bell does give me a little bit of pause. If some managers were to move sideways from him, his price is definitely going to come down quick. I like Baldock at 4 million for Sheffield United. I think he's guaranteed game time, but once again, we really don't have much information right now. But I like the look of it at 4 million. Right then, moving into the midfield, and this is where I think I'm going to get a little bit of grief in the comment section as we've had quite a few changes. So, first and foremost, Rashford has made it into the team. I previously had Bruno Fernandes, but after looking at the underlying numbers from last season, I just want the Man United player that has got the most goal threat. And I think Rashford is still that man in the Man United team. We haven't had a number 9 signed for Man United as we speak, so Rashford still remains that player that could either play there or the left of a front three. And the beauty of owning the more expensive Man United midfielder is if it goes wrong, you can simply downgrade to Bruno Fernandes at 0.5 million cheaper with one of your free transfers later down the line. But realistically, as I've said in previous videos, if you have the money available to go for Rashford, I think he is the better pick. And then if you don't have the money available, Bruno Fernandes is absolutely fine as an alternative to him. I don't want managers to sweat too much about that decision, but I think if you have the money available, Rashford is your man. And hopefully we'll get some clarification in pre-season whether Rashford is going to be the penalty taker. Now, let's just get right to it, okay? Because there's a certain Raheem Sterling who has made it into my team. No, he hasn't got me hostage. I'm not doing any promos for him. He has simply made it in because I do think there is a slight bit of potential here for Sterling as an FPL option. Now, we know game week 1 is not a good game week for Chelsea, some would say, at home against Liverpool. But the fixtures start to turn after game week 1 with West Ham followed by Luton, Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. So I think we're all going to want a piece of that Chelsea pie. Now, my big problem is I don't know how I'm going to get a piece of that pie if I don't start off with a Chelsea asset. I think naturally, if we go for the double up in Arsenal midfield, you're not going to want to move away from that. If you go for a Maddison, I think you get the joy of Maddison from game week 3 and beyond, most importantly. And then, of course, in the forward line, unless you downgrade from Gabriel Jesus to someone like an Nkunku, you're not really getting a piece of the Chelsea attack either. So for me, right now, I like the idea of Raheem Sterling starting off this draft. Now, of course, looking at my bench, you can see Enciso's at 5.5 million. So I've had to sacrifice the 6.5 million price bracket. So that's no Matoma, that's no Embuemo. But can't lie, I've kind of fallen off the Embuemo train a little bit right now. I just feel like the absence of Ivan Toney is going to impact this Brentford team. And why would I go for someone like Embuemo when I can get Sterling at 0.5 million more? It's a controversial take, but I still think there is a real player there. And for someone like Pochettino, who's adopted this really changed Chelsea team, the one player that I think he is going to fall back on for experience is going to be Raheem Sterling. And let's not forget, this guy is a goal scorer. I think just last season has been a little bit of an anomaly for every single Chelsea player. You have to remember, Sterling joined and he played under Tuchel, Potter and Lampard in a season. No player is going to do well over that sort of period. And I think Sterling is going to be an important part of that Chelsea team in the opening game weeks. And if they are going to hit the ground running, I think he could be an amazing asset, and I might be one of the guys to take a punt on him, and he's in the team right now, and just being at 4% ownership just gives me that differential that I want in this team, because remember, you can wildcard early if things go pear-shaped, and Sterling could be that man, but I'm liking the punt there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really think he is flying under the radar right now. I think we've just had a bad perception of him over the last 12 months. Now, a player that has absolutely no question marks about him is going to be Bukayo Saka. I think he is absolutely the pick of the bunch in the Arsenal midfield. Once again, with Gabriel Jesus playing, we know that Martinelli enhances an FPL option, but at 8 million, my worry is if I go for Martinelli, I can't then go up to Bukayo Saka if I realise, damn, I should have just gone for Saka. He's on penalties and he's on flames. So I want to go for the more expensive one, whether that be Odegaard or Saka. And for me, naturally, I just love the player Saka and I want to own the player that I love. And Bukayo Saka ticks all the boxes, and I only expect him to improve as an asset with the new signings that they made. Whereas Odegaard, we don't know whether the midfield may mean that the integration of Declan Rice and Havertz might see a bit more of a reserved Odegaard. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying that there could be changes amiss in the centre mid area. I think Saka remains a phenomenal Arsenal asset, and you need at least one Arsenal attacker going into this fixture list. Now, the other one that's made it into the team, and I'm really excited to have this man, is Maddison. Now, a lot of people said Maddison or Son or neither. I think with the opening fixtures for Spurs, it is worth noting that they're not necessarily the best. Away against Brentford, at home against Man United, but then they fall into a really nice run between game weeks 3 and game weeks 5. Now, at 7.5 million, I honestly think Maddison is the pick of the bunch alongside Son. I just can't justify paying 1.5 million more for Son. I think Maddison is a really nice entry point, and then you know that you can go sideways to a Phil Foden if you realise that you haven't got the right asset at that price range. He gives you that flexibility to go down, to go sideways. I think he's a nice pickup. I can't sit here and tell you that he is going to hit the ground running because, of course, a new manager, a new team. I don't know for sure, but I think Maddison at 7.5 could be a steal in those early game weeks. And as I mentioned, Enciso at 5.5 million makes the bench. I like the ceiling, but I am worried about the game time. But realistically, with that 4-4-2 formation, I don't think I'm going to need to rely too much on my bench. But Enciso is a really nice, exciting, high ceiling pick for this team. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, in particular, the Maddison and Sterling pick. So moving into the forwards, this section is going to be very, very brief. Jesus and Haaland have not left my drafts at all. in the last week or so, alongside Archer at Aston Villa being my 4.5 million. We don't even need to talk about Haaland. Let's just not talk about him. But Gabriel Jesus, I understand a lot of managers maybe having pause and question marks about him as an FPL option. But we need to remember, everything funneled through him from an XG perspective last season. He was unbelievable in those opening game weeks, and I also thought he was fantastic after his injury. I think we're only going to see a better Gabriel Jesus this season. And I think at 8 million, again, I like having the investment at that price range because I can then come down to any forward in the game that I want to own. Now, of course, drafts are going to change like that if Cameron Archer or Balogun get a Premier League move to a team who is expected to start week in, week out. If that does happen, then all these drafts need to get ripped up, because then we could see the 4-5-1 formation be adopted, where you could have Haaland and then Balogun and Archer as your 4.5 million forwards. And if that does happen, welcome back Mo Salah. That will absolutely happen if those transfers go ahead. But at the time of recording, nothing confirmed, and this is how my team is looking. 100 million, nothing in the bank. And I'm quite liking it. I prefer it to my previous draft. Yes, I don't have double Arsenal midfield. I don't have an additional Man United attacker. But I like the balance of this team. It's getting me ownership in all of the big teams. And I also like a few of the differentials in here, like the Maddison and like the Raheem Sterling. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be super interested to know on this draft. Yes, guys, okay, so that's going to wrap up today's updated FPL draft. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider hitting that like button. We're aiming for 250 this video. And if you did enjoy it, make sure you do smash that subscribe button. We're aiming for 6K before game week 1. I know you legends could get us there. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Cheers.